Hey, this is Ree here. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for the support on Patreon and on YouTube members. That being said, won't waste your time. Let's just get into it. So, what if everything you've ever known was a lie? What if your reality is a complete fabrication and not just the events, but time itself? There are many people coming up with this same theory and compelling evidence that the world as we know it is scripted. History has been not just changed, but at times completely made up. In this video, I'm going to explain this theory, which is based on the work of Michelle Gibson, who has been studying what she calls our false history, and I'll let you make up your own mind. I'm going to share a link to this video interview, which inspired this video, which gives you a brief example of Michelle's work. But if you go to her channel, she has hundreds of video evidence about what I'm going to speak about. We have all heard the phrase, the New World Order, but do we really know the deep meaning behind this? The theory is that the world was hijacked and a new world has been built over top of it. If you look around the world, there's so much ancient architecture that we cannot replicate today. Look around you, it's just buildings that are square. And buildings that are square is because when something is square, it's going to trap the energy in it. And before, if you look at all the ancient buildings, none of them were square. They're built with round tops. This helps the energy to disperse and actually heals the body. Today, we don't come close to it. A lot of these buildings have windows below ground, the ancient buildings, which show us that they were buried at some point in time. The same architecture is also found all over the world. Cities are built also on grid lines. There is so much evidence that points to the churches and some ancient buildings that were power stations for free energy some time ago, but they were dismantled. Michelle believes that the power grids were dismantled around the 1700s, and there's other people as well who are coming to this kind of conclusion. 1776, some people are saying, when the earth itself was taken over during a reset. They even believe that the royal family isn't the original royal family and that they were displaced. She believes that there were some people still here who survived the reset that may have took shelter underground. And there's also stories that there was some kind of reset and that the Siddhas took shelter in the Himalayas. And that's why there's a lot of very awakened people in the Himalayas. We don't know what happened to the people. Was it a quantum shift? Like we see today with the Mandela effect, where many people are remembering different versions of the past and many believe CERN is responsible. We don't know, but many people believe this because the timelines of history don't make sense. It is said that there is an extra at least 400 years that have been added, and they gave us a false history to cover this up. They believe it was done by the Freemasons and the Jesuits. Also, was this when Kali Yuga started, which are also known as the Dark Ages, when the Asuras, the demons, were to take over the planet? They say we're in Kali Yuga now, but was that the beginning because our timelines are messed up? It could be, and that would mean that Kali Yuga just started not long ago. If our timelines are false, how would we know? It wouldn't make sense. Now, our history keeps being rewritten every day by the powers that be, so why would our history be true? Now that you hear this, doesn't the New World Order make more sense? They say that the ancient civilization was known as Tartaria, which was very advanced and everyone lived in peace, everything was free, and was built to sustain and to work with Mother Nature. The agenda of the current powers that be are the reverse and the opposite to nature, which is the satanic agenda, where the chakras are flipped, where we worship our lower nature and cut off our higher consciousness. This is why school isn't education, it's indoctrination. This is why music isn't entertainment, it's brainwashing. And this is why the healthcare system isn't for healing, it's to enslave you. Everything natural is being hidden and replaced with synthetic, and we're being brainwashed to believe this is better. It is believed that the Rothschilds and the 12 other families of the bloodlines of the Illuminati are a part of the New World Reset. It is said that they got their powers from the worship of the demons in the Goetia. These are what gave them insights and knowledge of how to build an entire world to benefit them. They put in place maritime law, which considers all of us in legal terms lost at sea. So they control us as a corporation. They make us a corporation rather than a being in legal matters, meaning that a corporation is traded on the stock market as a commodity. Laws were put in place to enslave you. They explain that it's like we're on a ship, maritime law, where we're on a ship and one person is leading the ship. So we seem to think in our society there isn't one person. Well, there is one person running everything. And the leader of the ship, if they get sick, isn't actually the leader at all. The doctor is in charge because the doctor gets to decide if the leader, if the one driving the ship, the captain gets sick, they can decide they can be replaced. So the one who's actually in charge is the doctor. And if you see that right now with the WHO organization during COVID, they were the ones that were in charge. And everyone was wondering, well, how are the WHO in charge of the government? How is this medical community in charge of the government? That's because we're in maritime law. So these laws were put in place to enslave us. And this is why your birth certificate is in all capitals, as it makes you a corporation. Because we are gods, we are actually gods, and everything you see is a reflection of your mind. You are actually a sovereign being. So you are a soul that can never be enslaved unless you are tricked into doing so. So this is why they have to trick you and brainwash you, everything like that, to get you to do their bidding. This is why with the vaccine, it ended up being a choice. It had to be a choice that you made, but they pressured you into it. Now, those in the top levels of Freemasonry, those in secret societies, the Jesuits, and when I say the top levels of Freemasonry, it's 32 and beyond. So it's not the people that you know in your town who are in Freemasonry. They don't know this. They're not going to tell you this. But they all know this. So imagine the ego they have from knowing that your world is false, that they created. All you have to do is look at the false media, which is a clear example on a small scale of how everything is a lie. They have made themselves God and they print the money. They create the illusion of Maya. They give you false gods, false information, false knowledge, where you know nothing but the physical world. You know nothing about spirituality or who you are as a spiritual being. They give you a God to look outside of yourself so you don't realize you are God. And they made themselves God in this reality and have you praising them. Now, so I suggest that you watch her videos and you will open up your eyes to the truth, which is hidden in plain sight. She will give you a lot of pictures, a lot of breakdowns of history and how they don't make sense. She was also talking about that a lot of events in history are being written down as separate events, which were actually one event, which creates more time. So this is also why they have all the holidays that are actually rituals. Like Christmas, for example, that's the death of your consciousness. Christmas is actually during the time of Saturnalia, which is a ritual for not planet Saturn itself, for a god which represents Saturn. And this is a god which is helping to control and enslave you. So all of this has been twisted around, just like New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is actually, you're celebrating, because it's the first, Janus. And Janus is a being, a deity that looks to the past and looks to the future, but it's about control as well. And so it's all to keep you in guilt. That's how they do it. The more guilty you are, the more they can control you. So you're guilty about not fulfilling your New Year's resolution in a time when it's darkness. It's not a time to make New Year's resolutions. The time is the spring, which is the actual New Year. And that's when you will be able to have the energy, because everything grows. Right now, nothing grows. So you'll always fail at that. And then they have you with guilt. So that's why they have the holidays and they have this timeline, because this puts you more in time when time actually does not exist. Whoever controls time controls the mind. Only the mind perceives time. So this is how they get you. And then every year you have to celebrate these same holidays and you don't know why it's doing it. And it's brainwashing you and putting you into time. Every Christmas, it's telling you, it's like the warden telling you, now it's time for you to see your family. Go see your family. Now it's time for you to celebrate this and do this. It's like they're telling you what you need to do all the time. But if you don't do that, you free yourself. Just like your birthday, your real birthday is actually when your sun and your moon return, not just your sun. So you're not as old as you think you are, but you celebrate it every year, which makes you believe that you're older than you truly are. And then you blow out your candles, which is your life force, on a cake, which is a ritual, which makes you older every year. So this is just how your reality is being controlled. And I could go on forever, but that's just a little bit about that. I'll speak more about it if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one.